Talk. As you know, I'm Tigo, and today it's a little bit different. We're going to talk about entertainment. Don't worry, don't turn that dial. I'm not going to sing. Nobody wants that. We're going to have a little bit of comedy, a little bit about acting and how it applies maybe to your business. We're going to welcome Mr. Jay Reid and then follow with Mr. Frank Perillo. So sit right there. We'll be right back. Mr. Jay Reid, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh my goodness. You and I have seen each other over the years everywhere. You're Mr. Comedy for Las Vegas.
I'm trying to be.
You are Mr. Comedy. Yeah. You have been on a couple of my shows that I've produced, and I'm so happy to have you on a show that I'm actually sitting on this side.
Yeah, you're starring in your own show now. Yes.
Don't pick at me. I'm trying.
No, well, I had to come support you. You said that, you have a new show, and like you said, we've been working with each other for a while now and just running it through to each other here and there. So I got to come support you on your new show. I have to be here.
I appreciate that. So let's just talk about a few things. You are extremely funny.
Thank you.
But you understand the business. This is a business. This is not a hobby for you.
Yes.
You don't get up and go work at IBM or, you're not some executive at a casino. No. This is your full-time gig.
It is.
Okay? What made you decide that, one, comedy is my passion, and I'm going to make this my full-time gig, and it's going to provide for me and my family?
Well, for me, when I first got into comedy, it was just loving seeing people laugh and seeing people smile. I didn't get into it thinking, oh, this is a business. I could really make a living at this. Like, I really didn't know that until, I started really getting on the road and seeing other comedians, other professional comedians, and the way they approach the industry and the way they approach the business and the art of comedy. And I started to really realize, I have to take this seriously because people are watching me. People are other comedians, look up to you and trying to see what you're doing, trying to compare their careers to what you're doing. So I knew that I had to set an example and I had to really become serious about the art of it because it's called show business. So you have to learn the show part of it and the business side of it. And that's something that I had to learn. And I had, a couple of mentors, Bill Bellamy, he was a great mentor of mine and just helping me be a professional and just mastering the business side of it as well.
So I recently was at a conference over at Mandalay Bay, and I had the opportunity to see Kevin Hart there. And the host of that event said to him, man, I want to do what you do.
Yeah.
I want to go up on stage. Can't I just go to a comedy club and just walk up on stage and do what I do? And he said, no, man, you can't do that.
You can't.
So what if you're someone out there, because somebody out there is going, this is what I want to do. What do you have to do to get started? How did you start?
I started in, going to some open mics at a bar or little lounges across the city, and just going on stage, doing 5 minutes here and there, just building the set and really just learning the art form, learning the craft. Because that's what it is. It's a craft. It's like you just can't just walk on stage and just go tell a joke. It doesn't work that way. You have to learn how to construct a joke. You have to learn how to set up the punchline and how to bring something unique, how to bring put your own spin on it and show the world how you view the world. You got to show that, you got to present that in a different way, in a way of laughter. And that's an art form, and it takes a while to really be able to learn how to do that and master that.
So I've seen you online. You have a thing you do that says that don't go together.
That don't go together. Yeah.
And it cracks me up. I sit there and watch those things over and over again, and I'm like, they really don't. That don't go together. So how important is doing your research, watching the current news, kind of staying in the know? How important is that to your job?
It's very important. I mean, for comedians, that's very important because that's how we get our material. That's how we get other people to relate to what we're saying because they know these stories also, but we, have a twist to it. We're making it funny. We're pointing out things that they think about, that they want to say, people probably afraid to say, but we're actually saying that and bringing it to the light. So that's something that I do every day is just, I go on YouTube, I go on TMZ and just see what's going on in the world, the news, that's going on with the celebrities, and I just sit down and just write about it, and then that's how I came up with the whole "that don't go together." I was just doing a little videos like, man, did you see such and such? That don't go together, and then it just kind of stuck.
Funny. If you guys haven't seen it, you got to check that out. You have to follow this man on social media because it's so funny. But in production, when I started in production years ago, wonderful woman Lillian McMorris taught me this production thing. And she said 2 things I have to stay away from: politics and religion. You just stay out of that as a producer. You got to stay neutral. Are there boundaries where you will not touch? Do you have an area where you go, I'm just staying within this wall?
Yeah. See, and that's weird for me because I just think that as a society, I think we're in a weird place where everybody's just so sensitive about everything. It's like no matter what you say, whether it's controversial or not, like people are just going to have an opinion, and some people are going to like what you say and some people don't, or they're not going to like what you say. So for me, I just talk about stuff that's dear to me, what I see, like I said, how I see the world, my family, celebrities that I love, that if I see them doing something, I might talk about that in my act. But when it comes to, politics and religion, like I'll throw out something that I was thinking about or something, if you like it, you do. If you don't, you don't. That's just how I feel about it. Because everybody's going to have an opinion, no matter if they love it or hate it. They're going to have an opinion. Some people are going to be negative. Some people are going to be positive about it.
You mentioned family a couple of times. You have children.
I do. I have 2 beautiful kids.
Okay. They come home one day, maybe they already have, and they say, Dad, I want to follow in your footsteps. This is what I want to do. I want to be on that stage. Is this something you want to encourage? Or you going to look at them and say,
I would definitely encourage it.
Really?
I would. Because I know how great my life has been just from comedy, just from telling jokes. I've been around the world. I've met a lot of people in my wildest dreams I never thought that I would meet, that I would be even friends with. Some people that, are my best friends, some of these celebrities that you see every day are my best friends that I talk to on a daily basis. So if my kids was to come and say they want to do that also, I would never say no.
When you were a young kid, you're 8, 9 years old, are you thinking comedy then?
No.
What are you thinking then?
I'm thinking be an astronaut, I want to walk on the moon, be in the NBA. Like I had all of those type of thoughts. I never thought comedy. Really? I didn't think comedy until I was 17, 18.
So where is fear in your life? Were you ever afraid of the stage?
When I first started, yes, you like even to this day, I still have like the butterflies, I still have like the jitters or whatever, but I don't think of it as fear. I just think that it's the fear of not knowing what's about to happen right now. I'm just going on stage. I know that, I'm very confident in everything that I do on stage, and when I walk out there, I have the confidence, but it's still like that passion that you have for it is like when you love something so much and you're going out there not knowing what's about to happen. If you're going to have a heckler that jumps up and says something that you're going to have to deal with, or someone drops something that shatters the glass or something that's going to throw the whole mood up. It was whatever the case may be. You don't know what's about to happen, and I think that's the part of it that I love. It's like the thrill and the passion that I have about that's the moment. It's like when I have those butterflies, as soon as I walk out and give that first joke, like it all just disappears.
Worst experience you personally ever had on stage?
I was doing this talent show. Steve Harvey used to host a talent show in LA, and it's my first time ever doing TV and all of that. So I go there. It was at the El Rey Theater in Los Angeles. I had bought a brand new suit because Steve Harvey was the host, and I was like, I'm not going to let him show me up. I'm going to make sure I'm clean. I go there. He didn't even host that night. It was Alex Thomas. I'm mad. Like, I thought I was going to see Steve Harvey. So they put us all, it was maybe 30 people on that show that night. Everybody only had, everybody had 4 minutes. We only had 4 minutes. So they put us all in this little room. The room, it's an old theater, so it was like the AC was broken, it was hot. I got this suit on, I'm sweating this suit out before I even go on stage. I had this, I don't even know if I can tell this on still TV, but I'll try to clean it up as best as possible. But I had this joke called the Vaseline joke. And so I used to take Vaseline out there on stage and, do a little crazy thing. And as soon as I walk out on stage, give it up for Jay Reid, they just start booing me. Boo! So I didn't know what to say. I didn't even get a chance to.
Wow.
I didn't get a chance to say anything. So it was like, what do I do? What do I do? And so the show, it had this guy right in the front row. He had a T-shirt on that says "Boo." If he stood up, everybody boo. So he started standing up, yeah, boo, boo, showing his T-shirt like this. So Alex Thomas come back up on stage and he says, you know, you brought this Vaseline on stage, man. What were you gonna do with this Vaseline? Please, man, could you just do the joke real quick? And I'm like, I really don't want to do this joke, man. I just got booed off stage, man. Please don't let me do this joke. No, I just please, y'all, everybody, shh, everybody be quiet, please. He had to shush the crowd down. So he shushed the crowd. He said, man, please do the joke. So I was like, all right, I do the joke. I said, hey, fellas, your girl ever call you to say something to make you want to, get in the mood? And the dude with the shirt that had the boo shirt on, he stood up. It's like, that's one of Martin Lawrence jokes. Everybody boo him again, boo. So I got booed twice in one night just because of that dude.
So Vegas is your base. Mm-hmm. Were you born here?
Born and raised.
Wow.
Born and raised in fabulous Las Vegas.
You have a show that you do here every first Wednesday?
I do the first Wednesday of each month. It's called Comedy and Cocktails. It's one of the best comedy shows. I don't even want to say in Vegas, I'm going to say in the world, because we have so much fun. I bring out headlining comedians that you guys see all over on Comedy Central and Comic View, you've seen on those type shows. So we just have a great time. We do it at the Hustler Club on the rooftop. It's called Fuso, the rooftop club.
Beautiful club up there.
Beautiful club. It's
city view.
Yeah, the city view of the whole skyline of Vegas. It's just really dope. And
so do you interview your friends up there that you bring in?
I don't, but we can. We
We
definitely can make that happen.
Maybe we can get a couple of his expert friends.
Oh yeah.
Drop in.
Yes, we can. I definitely would make that happen. Yes.
Well, I appreciate you. I love you. I'm a humongous fan.
Thank
you know
you.
that.
Thank you.
And I thank you for cutting us into your schedule because
Got
I know, you have a very busy schedule.
Yeah.
You are an amazing man.
Thank you.
I know we got some great stuff coming. We're going to do some mastermind classes.
We will,
for
yes.
these people that are looking to get in this game. And like you and I spoke before we even started the interview, people want to know, how do they do this? What is this thing called comedy? They watch things on HBO and on the internet and YouTube, but they need to hear from somebody like you that can show them a little bit more light on that tunnel on how to navigate because it's not easy.
I just want to, give that knowledge that I have and for the comedians that's coming up, some of the routes that I had to go, they don't have to go those routes. They go bypass those speed bumps that I had to go over, so I'm very passionate about that, and I would look forward to doing some classes with you.
We're going to have a blast, and you guys have seen, we've been showing you how to follow him in social media. We've been showing you his website. We're going to let you know exactly when his mastermind classes are going to happen, when we're going to do the webinars. There's a lot of great stuff coming. So if you're trying to get into the comedy business, they say comedy game. This is not a game. The comedy business. If you're serious about your craft, don't waste this man's time, because if you waste his time, he's going to call me. You know I'm going to call you on it. If you're trying to get into this business, we're going to show you how.
We definitely will.
I thank you so much for being here.
I'm so glad you're doing this show. Congratulations again. I love you. Anytime you need me, please call.
Mr. Jay Reid.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show, Frank Perillo.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. Now, before we get into this, I'm one of those people that do not want to play like I don't know somebody.
Right.
You and I have been friends now for 8 years? Pretty close?
Yeah, about 8 years.
7, 8 years.
Easily.
And we are actually in your home, away from home.
You are in my
home.
studio.
Your studio. Where are we?
We are at One Media Production Studio in Las Vegas, Nevada.
And what do you do?
Most of the time, we teach acting classes for the most part. But we do some production, feature films and stuff like that from time to time.
Are you just going to just jet that right by? We do feature films and that, like everybody does a feature film. Come on now. You have done at least 2 major projects in the last couple of years.
Right. The one that we currently got out right now is Project Puppies for Christmas. It's starring John Ratzenberger from Cheers, and it's the story of 2 young girls who both lost their mother to cancer, who decide to do a grumpy old neighbor a favor for Christmas.
So how does that come about? Let's talk about that for a minute, because we got a little time, right? We got a little time. We're not in a hurry. Y'all gonna hang out, right? So let's talk about that. I want to write, okay, or I'm an actor or a producer, and I want to create a feature film.
So what happens is once you get a movie film done, it has to go through a process called QC, which is a lab company will go through and they'll check the film for all sorts of problems, whether it's shooting problems, sound problems, legal issues that could arise and stuff like that. You have a Coke can showing, and it looks like it's advertising Coke.
Why can't I just send Coke a bill because I'm giving them free advertising?
You can't, because they don't need your free advertising.
Well, excuse me.
Well, they don't.
Okay.
Okay, so they're dealing with major studios and getting into their big films and painting it in the films. They don't need your advertisement. The other legality is anything that you might have in your film that might associate them with whatever you're doing can cause you legal issues.
Okay, so, really, this is not what we were supposed to be talking about in the interview, but it's really fascinating. Okay. So, how does somebody find out this information? Like, do you teach this somewhere?
I do teach it.
Okay.
I teach it to my students, first of all, so that they understand if they're ever involved in investing into a product or anything like that, that these are things they should look out at. Because even if you're just performing and you're getting paid, you're still investing into a product. That product is showing your talents. You should have the right to see what's in there and whether or not there's going to be any issues with it. So I teach that as part of what I call the business of acting. What are the things in acting that are issues with that might arise in a film that might affect an actor from the business aspect?
So we'll get into why we're really doing this interview, but we should do some master classes on the business of acting, the business of film production, because I've never seen any of what you're talking about right now. I know that because we do creation of streaming networks, and I came to you and said, I want to get all these independent films that nobody ever sees and everybody has them. I want to put them on this network and put them out for the world. And you said, we got to look at all of those, and we got to make sure they don't have anybody's products in them, and we got to make sure they weren't on anybody's properties, and they didn't do this, and they weren't wearing name brand clothes. And I said, what? And you were like, that's why so many percentages of films are never seen. It's not because they're not great films, but they didn't do their due diligence.
That's correct.
And make sure everything, all their I's are dotted, all their T's are crossed before they even turn their cameras on.
Like we did Puppies for Christmas, I had to submit a document package that big. Showed that we had the right to use the pet store, the grocery store, anybody's locations, anything like that. Unless I was shooting on public land. If I was shooting on public land, I just needed to pull the permit, and there was no cost involved with that.
So do you also offer a service where if somebody else wants to do a film, will you help them pull all that? Will you help them put that document together?
Yes, if anybody needs help in Las Vegas or the surrounding areas in finding out what is required to do all that stuff, they can always give me a call here at the office, and I'll help them out with that.
Okay, so I have been in this game called production for 17 plus years.
Yes, you have.
And I have had many, many people on our set. And I can always tell, it's usually the person that comes in as just humongous personality, business-wise. Humongous, just whoo, And I'll look at my director over there and I'll say, as soon as that light comes on, they are going to go,
right.
Because they're terrified of that light. And they've been pumping themselves up all day.
Right.
And as soon as they sit down, they become that little kid in the back of the classroom they hope the teacher doesn't call them. So how do you get them to reach in and pull that persona out?
Because I teach who you are as a private person doesn't necessarily mean who you have to be as a persona for whatever the product or thing that you're trying to sell.
Okay.
You know, Jerry Lewis was a goofball his entire life on film, but that doesn't mean how Jerry Lewis went home and was a goofball to his family. He went home and became whoever he was. So by creating an individual persona that you bring to the camera versus who you are all the time, then you can separate the two out, and it's okay. At first, it might feel phony because you're being you in both cases, but it's not.
Okay.
This persona has a very specific goal to either sell a product, teach somebody something, whatever it might be, and this person's got a private life to live.
And does it take a lifetime to learn it?
It does not take a lifetime to learn. It could be done in just 10 short classes, 10 short weeks. You can learn how to overcome that fear of the camera.
So how long have you been in this game called acting?
Well, I kind of got into acting in the late 70s, and then went into the military, had my family, kind of did plays where I could, when I could fit them in, and then after my kids grew a little older, I said I really want to get back into this as an actor, but I found I love being behind the camera better, and I love teaching. Well, I've always been a storytelling type of a person, and the deeper the characters to me, the deeper my love of a story is. So, method acting, we're all people who feel the same things. Anger, sadness, happiness, joy, excitement, all those things. We all have those emotions inside of us. It's how we use those emotions that set us apart from who we are, from other people. But everybody has it. So in method acting, and why I love it so much, and I've tried many different methods, since you already have those experiences and those emotions, all you do is you learn to take those and you loan them to the character. But it's not just that. You get to take those emotions and you put it onto a screen, and somebody else who's sitting out there, gone through it recently, don't know how anybody, that thinks nobody else knows how they feel, and they're watching that and they're going, wow, somebody really knows how I feel.
Try to get you to go to a basketball game. He said, I'm a baseball guy. Coaches say, old athlete, coaches say, leave it on the field. Take it out there, leave it all on the field.
Yep.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
How do you turn it off once it's turned on? Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay.
That's a very common question.
Okay.
Sometimes it's not going to be as easy to turn off as other times, but it's a developed skill. Eventually you will develop the ability to tap into your emotions and pull what you need without opening up Pandora's box.
That's awesome. Okay, so if you're in Las Vegas, you have classes here pretty much 7 days a week. You're not teaching every day, but you have classes here pretty much 7 days a week.
No, 7 days a week.
And of course, you guys have seen the information flying by through the whole interview. So people can contact you if they want to come into classes. Mm-hmm. But we're putting together some master classes, some webinars, some information where they can find out about method acting for business.
Right.
So we're going to march that through. I'm going to put you on the spot. Okay? And because we're family, you can tell me to shut up for this one time.
Okay. I know. I value my life.
There you go. What about teaching actual classes virtually? Is that something you're ever going to do?
I would love to teach classes virtually.
Okay.
Because the best thing about being teachers is not seeing people go off and become great actors. I mean, of course, I want that. I want them to go, but not be stars. I want them to go somewhere, and when they walk off the set that day, they feel they gave the best performance they could. But what I really see from people when they come to these classes is emotional growth. Mm-hmm. They're able to tap into things through other people, through scripts and stuff like that, and really just deal with stuff. And they become happier and healthier people. They become more confident in their abilities to talk to people, because you learn that ability to turn on and off with the persona you need on a given time. We all know that there's certain personality types. We think it's 3, 4, 5. Who cares how many personality types? We all run into them. But in acting and in the business classes that we teach in the method classes, you get to deal with those personalities in a way that you're learning, okay, I don't have to be afraid of this A personality, because I know this character type is this way, and this is the best way to deal with it. So I'm just going to step into this mode, and I'm going to react to this way.
Yeah, that's awesome. We just had Jay Reid on a little bit earlier in the show, and he was talking about depending on the stage that he's going on, and what type of comedy show it is, whether he's emceeing or he's the headliner or he's following the opening for the headliner. He evaluates like a chef. exactly what jokes he's going to put together, how long this is going to be. And basically that's what you're saying. You can evaluate the room that you're going into and decide exactly how you're going to deliver this particular version of you.
Exactly right.
That's amazing.
It's still you. It's just a different part of you.
That's amazing.
It's like you're yelling at your kids, and then the phone rings. Hello. It's still you, but you're not going to yell on the phone. You don't even know who's on the side of it. You know what I'm trying to say? So we have those things, and then once I know how the best way to handle, well, how do I do that? Mm-hmm. Well, you go into performance mode, and you just perform.
So then you look at public speaking, because I just joined one of the biggest public speaking groups, and then I'm sitting here thinking, having that kind of skill will help me when I'm going to walk on a different stage. I'll know how to approach that stage like Jay Reid knows how to approach his stages.
And the confidence that gives you as a human being is incredible. Because you know that you can handle any type of personality that comes along because you know how you're going to need to react.
So I think that you got to come back because you've been hiding stuff from me. We're going to talk about that off camera. But I think we need to put maybe like a 10-step quick guide or something together just so people can get a quick little overview of, what we're talking about right now. So people can go, yeah, that's what's going to help me get over this fear called the camera. Because I've been in quite a few meetings and training sessions, and everybody's talking about if you're not doing a camera, if you're not doing video of some sort in your business, you're about to get left behind.
Right. Really what I'm going to teach people is, look, we put on faces every day for everybody. It's not something that you're not already doing, but I'm going to help you become more comfortable with it so that you can do it in front of a camera and not feel there's 3 million people judging you for doing it.
Exactly. So whether it's a stage of 50 and you're teaching in a room, or if it's a stage of 500,000 and they're watching on social media, you learn how to be comfortable in your own skin. That's correct. What you're doing. I love this man. He's my brother. And I thank you so much for being on Expert Talk with me.
Why, thank you for having me.
Everybody, this is Frank Perillo. I'm Tigo. And as always, we'll talk to you next time.